stability and shift their focus of economic management from taxation to production. To that effect, in the budget, we are expecting various measures to perhaps reduce taxes, cut down. One of the key policies on energy is the energy sector levy. We're hoping that, we're expecting to see that energy sector levy will be scrapped. The NPP has called that a nuisance tax. It also says that it will manage the economy competently. We'll need to find out what competently means here. And then also the NPP is promising to make the machinery of government work to deliver the benefits of progress to Ghanaians. So let's get to the studio now. I have with me tonight, joined with us, Honorable Alexander Kwamina Afenyomarkin, who is Member of Parliament for Ifutu. Honorable, we're grateful to have you. And Al-Hassan Umar is Member of Parliament for Zabzugu. So, gentlemen, tomorrow is the day we're expecting the government policy to be spelled out clear. So let me start with you, Honorable Umar King. The MPP has made some promises on the back of which expectations are high. So let's take, for example, agriculture, education, energy. These are expectations that Ghanaians have. Ghanaians want to see that the energy challenge will be reduced. What plans does the MPP have? We want to hear details of the free senior high school policy. How is the government going to fund that? So what can you tell us to let us have a fair idea of what to expect tomorrow?
Well, the finance minister is expected to appear before us in accordance with Article 179 and the authority of the president to present the budget, which is the policy statement of government. In the State of the Nation address, Mr. President gives certain indications as to the direction of government policy. With respect to education, the President has committed the government to this campaign promise of ensuring implementation this year. So obviously, in the budget, we're going to have
some details,
specific details of that.
Fleshing out of the promise.
Unfortunately, our friends on the other side, who were very pessimistic, are suddenly asking where we're going to get the money. But
that's fair. It's fair to ask where the money is going to come from.
That is not a fair question. To the extent that we made a promise to implement, and we are implementing, the substance is what you have to look at. As to how you're going to fund it, obviously, it's going to come from the public purse. And how we would identify our priorities and manage the economy such that we would have sufficient to be able to take care of the future of our children. Look, the NDC had said there was no way it could pay teacher training allowances. There was no way it could pay nursing training allowances.
There was no way there could be free senior high school education.
They had also said so. I'm happy you've reminded me. But today, they may be surprised that, we could not do it. How come these guys are reintroducing this? We are introducing it because we are identifying our priorities. And competence is the key. Look, the NDC had so many opportunities and they blew same. One, for instance, is the issue of CDB loan, where they paid over $200 million to the Chinese government because you were being charged penalties here and there. SADA is a typical example. Where you had borrowed at compound interest, 200 million at a compound interest. In 3 years, you were paying 299 million, and you had nothing to show. So you borrow, you waste it, then it becomes a burden, a liability.
So this is something the MPP is not going to do.
So what the NPP is going to do is to manage whatever is there, prioritize in key areas, do away with nuisance taxes, make sure that you emphasize production. And the president said, look, we're going to put in place the necessary incentives to support our farmers.
I see Honorable Omar is itching
of course,
to react
he
to
would
what you're saying.
He would itch to react, but you should let me make my point. Farmers need support. And we're going to utilize the Canadian grant, the support from the Canadian government, as well as government's own resources allocated for farmers. Extension services are going to be provided, and make sure that farmers take advantage of it. Seedlings, fertilizers, and this issue of one village, one dam, especially for our brothers in the northern part of the country, would have access to irrigation so that they can increase production. The one district, one factory. Look, generally, if you look at the number of people who are getting into this country, the number of Ghanaians who are ready to take up entrepreneurship, it's very amazing. And I'm sure that in this budget, there would be positive indicators that would assure the business community. We have a minister for business development. We have a minister for trade. We have a minister for special project. Put all these together.
Wow.
It points to one direction, that the government is serious about creating jobs, making sure that various ministers are in place to see to it that these promises are delivered.
Honorable, let's hear from Honorable Alhassan Umar. I see that you're itching to react to what he has been saying, but that you don't have much expectation of the budget, that you are not hopeful?
Well, not that we are not hopeful. We are, as a country and also as members of
the legislature.
We want the country to move forward. And it isn't only the NDC, the whole country.
Yeah.
And just to, quote my friend on the other side, that the president came and said, when we asked him for details, some of the issues that he mentioned, and he left out some, like the inflation. All what he said was that it's going to be in the budget. Well, what we expect to see in the budget tomorrow is that they're just going to be lofty as if we are still in a campaign mode, whereby you promise and promise and promise and can't deliver. When you look at it, no,
but
please,
I
don't.
No, you did interject.
No,
what is the promise? You've not seen the budget. You are talking about inflation.
No, we are
What's the relevance?
We are looking.
That the president should talk about inflation in the State of the Nation address.
No, it's just an example. I'm just citing.
No, but he's promised on free education that he's going to implement.
No, I'm counter free education.
And then you are saying, where is he going to get the money from?
If you look at the free education, wait a minute. My friend said free education. Free education, but the president said free education with what? A hesitation. The free education will come only for the new entrance in September, but not the continuous student. This is discriminatory in nature because once they are also students,
but he's rolling out a plan.
Listen, we need infrastructure for students, which under the NDC.
So let's go on this specific. So for the senior high school policy, you are doubtful that the government will show a consistent and a plan to fund it consistently. Exactly. You also feel that it's discriminatory to start with the first year students while the existing students continue
because
to pay.
It is not entry requirement. If it was free education for entry requirement for a new entrance, fair enough. But you can't say free education and those continue will not be able to have dinner with them.
What about education? What about health? What about agriculture?
Exactly.
What about the energy sector?
Exactly. Look at all the lofty ideas and promises, and there's no funding.
You see the promise to scrap the energy sector levy as lofty?
You have about reducing corporate tax from 25 to 20%, reducing import duty taxes, reducing VAT,
scrapping the energy sector levy.
Where are you going to get the funding?
So your problem is that when you take out all these taxes, you won't have anything to run the country.
And they are going back to the same thing that they blame us, that we were all interested in borrowing.
They have blamed you for reckless spending.
For reckless spending and borrowing. And they are going to do the same thing. Else, it's just going to be the same thing which we will call voodoo economics.
Honorable Marking, do you subscribe to Honorable Omar's assertion that if you continue on that path, you make a promise to scrap tax, reduce corporate taxes, you are cutting down every avenue that you have to make revenue. So you might end up becoming what you've described them to have been doing, reckless spending, reckless borrowing. You don't anticipate that?
Where will you get funding to build the Paga? No, the Paga train. From Kumasi to Paga.
I think you've been...
So there are quite a lot of things where we will not be able to exhaust in 30 minutes.
Sorry, I thought you interjected once.
So let's hear.
How do you expect us to scrap taxes and then go and borrow like you did? You are saying that we'll take a... Hold on. I mean, let's put the argument in perspective. Your argument is you don't understand why we're going to reduce import taxes.
Your source of funding.
how do you expect us? You are saying that you don't expect us to manage the economy without overtaxing Ghanaians.
No, that's not what he said.
No, that's
he
what
said you are going to reduce taxes. So if you do reduce taxes, where are you going to get the money to do the other projects?
We are not saying you should increase taxes. The
focus would be on production. Have you heard of this phrase, build, operate, transfer?
Of course, BOT.
You have heard of PPP?
Oh, we did that as the sugar factors, and you guys are against it.
Are we having an argument?
PPP. Yes.
Are we having a debate?
Yes.
Okay, here.
Gentlemen, we have 3 minutes to wrap up. So let's streamline our discussion so that we can wrap up effectively.
You see, let's deal with the issues. First of all, the government promised during campaign. This is the first budget of the government. Wait, see the budget. Whether or not the budget has addressed critical areas of the economy. At least, Mr. President has indicated clearly that with respect to education, I am going to roll out the free education policy starting September with the new entrant. That is one.
We did that.
Hold on.
And that is why we went into building infrastructure.
Am I supposed to make the point?
Sorry.
2, agriculture. The bane of the economy says, look, I am going to encourage as many youth as possible to get into agriculture. We're going to introduce new incentives. Wait for it tomorrow. On the issue of one district, one factory, creating an enabling environment for business to thrive. Production. If you encourage an individual, a businessman, to expand his business, he's going to create employment. He's going to expand and invest in technology. And that would meet the expectation of the people, rather than overtaxing the person. Now, if you say you don't understand, if you say that we take away the taxes and we're not going to have money to develop the economy, the better it is for you. But we are talking about competence here. We are talking about identifying your priorities. You could not. For 8 years, you were started with debt.
Let me get
I've given you the examples. I've just given you some few examples where you had borrowed, or even where you have been penalized and you've lost money. You've not addressed the $200 million.
Let's get your closing remarks. Let's get your closing remarks.
You don't address the CDB loan. You lost $200 million.
Let's need to go back to this. You did the same thing with CLT.
Right, Honorable Man, let's get your closing remarks. We need to wrap up on this. Honorable Man King, I'm afraid that we have to wrap up our conversation. So
yes, fine. Hold on. You finish your point. I've raised an issue.
No, he hasn't.
I've raised an issue that you borrowed. You lost $200 million. You lost $200 million to the Chinese under CDB.
Right.
You lost 299 million Ghanaian cedis to those investors.
Honorable Martin, let me give Alassane Umar the closing remark. So let me ask you so that we will be succinct on how we want to close. I need you to tell me whether you expect anything positive from tomorrow's budget.
Well, the positive thing, what positive do I need to expect? You say you're going to scrap taxes. On the other hand,
but
please. On the other hand,
what positive thing do you expect? You don't want to answer.
Positive thing.
Answer because you are part of this country.
He says he has none.
You are part of government.
No.
You don't expect anything positive?
Well,
not even the free education, not even the incentive for farmers in your constituency.
Free education.
Not even the 1 million for a constituency.
So Honorable Martin, I beg your pardon. Let's make Honorable Umar.
You don't expect that
provided you will get the money.
No, wait for it.
So your skepticism,
please. I haven't finished.
1 minute.
I haven't finished. Listen, you say you are going to rebates, expand the tax base. And in the tax base, you know the people they are targeting? The mom and pop stores. Those small SMEs.
You know this for sure? Because
the
budget is not in
Look at it. It's here. For sure. They said they are going to expand the tax base. They are going to expand
it. Right, Honorable, I'm afraid.
And listen, at the same time, then they say those are the SMEs that they are going to cut tax on. At the same time, increase it and
right, Honorable Omar, thank you very much. You expressed your skepticism very clearly. Honorable Apenyomarkin, we're grateful, gentlemen, that you made time to come. This is News at 10.